Hello and a good Monday morning to you, my glitter glam soggy gorilla muffins. Coffee cheers to you. It is I, Hallie, with July's very first episode of our weekly reading book review. We are 5-6 years running now. It's ridiculous. There's a lot of episodes. And of course, there are always more books. I really need to stop requesting them from publishers when they give me a list of new ones coming, but I can't help it. It's books. So I don't even know that any of them that I'm going to talk about today were sent to me, but I love the books. So coffee cheers to you. If you would like to talk about stories, that's why I'm here. Please enjoy. So pour yourself a cup of coffee and let's talk about the books and stories I consumed and read and delighted in this week. Okay, the first one I finished, I was nearly done with last Monday. However, did not get to read that last chapter or two before we filmed. So theoretically, I finished this week. This is DREAMSLINGER by Graci Kim. This beautiful cover on this middle grade novel. It was okay. As I mentioned, I feel like it was just trying to do too much, and so we didn't do anything yet except for maybe set up a series. There's so much to this wonderful world that she created. It felt like it was thrown at us instead of like sparingly throughout a few more books. So love the characters, obviously love the vibe, and it's beautiful. It was just a lot for me to take in my current head state. The one I relished in and loved and yum, I can't wait to reread it and tell you all about it. This is nonfiction, so hang with me, guys. This is Henry Lien's Summer, Spring, Asteroid Bird, The Art of Eastern Storytelling, very slim volume, collected from his articles and workshops and teaching, and it was so good. So if you're familiar with like Save the Cat, the screenwriting book, or Save the Cat Writes a Novel, or Save the Cat Writes a YA novel, etc., how they those authors break it down as to here's a common formula of the basically 3-act structure in Western traditions of storytelling. This is Eastern storytelling, and it was so good. There's like the circular and the layered, and it just was so good. So he takes examples like My Neighbor Totoro, and one I requested from the library, which hopefully will come in today, even though it was a holiday weekend, Your Name, the Japanese anime. Other books that we love. It's just so good. I feel like I highlighted the entire thing. It was just amazing. So whether or not you're a storyteller, this was so good. And what I always preach of, we don't need more formulaic novels. Oh, he also like covered Mario and Zelda and how Americans and Westerns can handle Eastern storytelling, like how, and especially the 4-act structure where there's like do-do-do-do, and then 3, boom, there's something we didn't realize was part of it. And like how we're trained in America to write a book is like you got to plant the seed so it doesn't come out of nowhere. But 2, I would argue, of our favorite middle grade novels ever in America broke the mold, followed this 4-act structure, and our favorites. For example, you ask 99%, maybe I'm exaggerating. Anyway, Harry Potter, Prisoner of Azkaban. Why do we love it? Because of the surprise of Hermione's time turner. And why do we love Roald Dahl's Matilda? Because later, it's not established, but we found out Matilda's magic, and she uses her powers to scare away the Trunchbull, and then everything's wrapped up and happy, and it all comes together, and it's so brilliant, and it's like, wow! So, I love this, if I haven't made that clear. So, yeah. I'm here for it. So just lingering here so you read it. I picked it up in my local indie bookstore, M. Judson. They have a great writer's room of quirky books that don't always make it on the mainstream shelves. So absolutely loved. Highly encourage you to read, whether you're a story lover or aspiring author, storyteller, etc. in any medium. Spring, Summer, Asteroid Bird, The Art of Eastern Storytelling by Henry Lien. Or Line. I'm not sure how you say that. Sorry, Henry. But well done. I loved it. Okay. Also read, very short, but, you know, Shakespeare. Henry V, Henry V. We'll do that quote this week, and then I have to get into the 3 parts of Henry VI. I did listen to a really great episode by the Shakespeare Anyone podcast. There's a cover, where they just happened to cover Henry V in the past year or so, and they did a wrap-up watching 3 different versions, and that was a really great conversation. I'll tag them below. Okay, currently reading. My week was busier than I expected, so I didn't really finish a lot, but I'm about 100 pages in as of yesterday. A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking by T. Kingfisher. This is kind of YA. It's also cozy fantasy. The protagonist is 14 years old, but it feels like a cozy fantasy. There's a dead body on the floor of the bakery where she works for her aunt, and she is a wizard, but just a baby wizard, as in she can only make dough do things, and has sourdough in the basement named Bob who keeps growing. And it sounds like there's some people maybe uppity up in government who are trying to get rid of all the wizards, especially the poor ones, in the town. So that's as far as I've gotten. Excellent so far. I'm also currently very, very not far into Fault Lines by Janet Summer Johnson. I loved, one of my favorite books I read last year was Final Word, and this is the sequel. So you do need to read this one first. This is, again, Final Word, Janet Summer Johnson. Family Inheritance, spelling bee, excellent. It's middle grade, but appropriate for all ages. My parents also loved it. And reading the sequel, Fault Lines, looking forward to that. I am re-listening to on audiobook HOLLOWPOX, The Hunt for Morrigan Crow by Jessica Townsend, because number 4 just came out. And SILVERBORN, and I need to read that, but I really, with this big of a fantasy and as many years as it's been since I've read the first 3, need a reread to at least get back into the world before I read that next one. I did finish the second disc of Ben-Hur, again, thanks to What Went Wrong podcast. I was interested in that. It was very long, everyone's very sweaty, and it was different, and the chariot scene is intense and made me stressed out, and there you go. I don't want to say hate watched. That's too harsh a word. But I rewatched the new Snow White with one of my writer friends, Rachel, on Saturday night. And so we critiqued that one. So it wasn't this beloved 1937 classic. It was the new one from earlier this year. And I would love a What Went Wrong podcast on that one, just saying, hey, Lizzie and Chris, because golly, when you deconstruct the script like we writers sometimes do, there was a lot that was just plugged in there that didn't look like it was supposed to be there, and maybe they probably did 800 million rewrites. And how do you remake a classic? How about don't? How do you make a beloved animated film with real humans? How about don't? Rachel Ziegler was amazing. I love her and Jonathan, the he's not the prince, but he's like the rogue Robin Hood of the rebels in the woods, and her, so cute. I love their songs together, and I do love the peasant costumes and Snow White's dresses. I want them all, but otherwise we have feelings about the script, and just no with the dwarves. Okay. All right. Also, like I mentioned, gonna read the Henry Sixes, and maybe here's just 3 books I pulled from my TBR stacks upon stacks over here to my left. Haven't read yet. Onward, On Again, Awkward Again, Erin Trotter Kelly, and Kwame Mabala. Hopefully get to that soon. It's middle grade, but romance. So love it. Awkward. Me. Still. Also, this is an early copy, comes out in October, but totally my vibe. Lost Souls Meet Under a Full Moon, a Japanese fiction. Obsessed with that screen print looking cover. And so, as I've mentioned multiple times in my stories, I love Soman and Victoria's new podcast, Plot Twist and Confession Time. I have never read a Victoria Aveyard novel. So, found a copy of The Red Queen, and I should get to that in the next few weeks. I do love her philosophies on writing and publishing and author life, etc. Again, check out those podcast episodes. You're not too far behind. Listen to them all. They're pretty short, with Victoria Aveyard and Soman Chinani. And hi, Victoria. I should read one of your books. Okay. It's YA, obviously, intense fantasy. And I'm sure I'm curious, I'm always curious, authors. That's a different story. I won't talk about it. Okay, so the moral of today's story is read this book. And I have, okay, my coffee's hiding behind my piles, guys. That's sweet. Hopefully that's not an omen for the week ahead. Last one was a little rough. Okay, coffee, cheers to you. I love you. Let me know what stories you're reading, loving, enjoying, watching, listening to, all the things. And we'll chat at you later. You can, fingers crossed, pray for me that I get some studio time this week. Yeah, because there's so many projects I need to do, want to do, and my paint is calling to me from down the hallway where my studio lives. So anyway, love you guys. We'll talk at you later. Okay, love you. Bye.